Welcome to part 2 of making a CLI-based game in Python. So as I promised, we would make this nice game in Python. So first, let's make the board here, these options, the instructions. Then in the upcoming videos of this series, we will add more functionalities. So first, we have to import some modules. The first one is the random module, because we want to generate some random numbers. The other one is OS module, because at some point we have to clear the whole screen. We don't want to see extra information. We don't want to see extra emojis. Now let's set seed to 42. So this number is optional. You can use another number, 100, 200, 1. So I'm using 42 here. So if you want to follow along with me, you can use 42. Now let's create this board here. So as you can see, we have 11 rows and 12 columns. So we will have a two-dimensional list. I'm going to use list comprehension. I'm going to call the list forest. So in the sublist, we have 12 elements. I have some Unicode numbers here. Let me copy and paste, not to waste any time. So this is the element, if j mod 2 equals 0, else we want to have another type of tree. So as you can see, we have two types of trees here in this board. So this is the first one. If j mod 2 equals 0, else we have to use the second type, this one right here. For j in range 12, because we want to have 12 elements or 12 columns. So here's our sublist, and then for I in range 11, because we have 11 rows. Now this is fine. We have our board, 11 rows, 12 columns. So here we have the prince emoji. The coordinate is 0, 0. The first row, the first column. So let's say forest 0, 0 equals the Unicode number of prince emoji, which is this one here. No need to memorize these codes. Impossible to memorize all of them. So what else we have? We have a gem right here, bottom right in the corner. So let's say forest 10, the last row and the last element in the last row equals the Unicode number of the gem or diamond. So what else? Let's see the game. So we have monsters, we have some tents. Of course, we can make fire. So we need fire emoji. Here we have wood logs. We need wood emoji. We have some blood drops. We have food or fruit. Here we have some berries. And then we have stone. Now let's add them. First, monster equals. Now let's go back to this document. Here's the Unicode number of monster emoji. We also have fire emoji. And I forgot to add tent. So here's the tent emoji. Now let's add wood, HP, not health, HP. We also have food and stone. So let's add them one by one. So the first one is wood. Control C. Let's paste it here. Yeah, I know it's a bit boring, but please be a bit patient and you will see the result at the end. And the last one is stone. So what else we need here? We also need that skull emoji. So when you kill a monster, so instead of a monster, we have to replace it with skull emoji or skeleton. So let's say that equals that skull emoji. So here's the thing. We also have key emoji because we have to collect 6 keys by killing the monsters in order to acquire the gem here. So we also need the key emoji. And the last emojis are these arrows here. So up, down, left, and right. So we need 4 more emojis. Let's call them WSAD. SAD. Now I have these Unicode numbers. For S, for A, and the last one for D. Right? So we are almost done with all the emojis used in this game. Now we have the status of our inventory. So we have 0 keys, 0 food, 0 stone, 0 wood log, and monsters killed 0. So we also need some variables for these numbers. Now, number of foods, I will call it food num equals 0. We have 9 blood drops. I will say HP num equals 9. So you can change this number if you want. Monster killed equals 0. The number of kills that you have collected, I say key num equals 0. And wood log equals 0. And the number of stones, stone num, again equals 0. So as I told you in the first video, you cannot search a tent twice. So it's only possible to search a tent once. So let's have a list, an empty list. Not to search. Let's write a short comment here. Not to search a tent twice. So I say tent coordinate equals an empty list. So once you search a tent, you store its coordinates here into this list. So if you go back to the same tent, you cannot search it. Even if you search it, you cannot obtain any food or any fruit. So we are done with these emojis and variables. So of course we will add some more variables, but for now they are enough. Now here I have two monsters. One of them to the left, the other one on top of our gem. So let's add these two monsters. Forest 1010 equals forest 911 equals monster, the emoji. And there is something nice here. So we have a distribution of monsters in the forest. And their positions are totally random. Now we have to use this module, random module. Now I have to have a counter variable. Let me add it here. Counter equals 2. And the reason is because here we don't have any monster in the first row and in the second row. So the index is 0, the index is 1, the index is 2. So this is the reason I'm using number 2 as the initial value of counter. Now let's use a counter, while loop. So counter less than 10. And let's have a variable enemy equals random.sample. So I want to have a sample of 2 from a population. What is my population? I have 12 numbers from 0 up to 11. So the sample size is 2 because on each row we have 2 monsters. So here they are next to each other, no problem. Here we have one here and the other one is right here. So here's our population, a list. From 0 up to 11. So this number here is exclusive. So be careful. So I said a sample size of 2, k equals 2 monsters. So this enemy is a list of 2 elements. The first element has index 0, the other one is index 1. So forest counter. So the initial value of counter is 2, right? So it means start from this row. So forest counter. And then here enemy 0 equals monster. So this number can be 0, this number can be 10, 9, because we take 2 random numbers among these 12 numbers from 0 up to 11. And again, forest counter, and let me 1 because we have a list of 2 elements. Let me write it here, a list with 2 elements equals monster. And of course, you have to increase the value of counter, not to have an infinite loop. Counter plus equal 1. So what about the tens? So we have some tens in the forest, right? So I place them manually. You can make some random numbers if you want. But to make your life easier, you can do it manually. Now let's have some coordinates. Forest 0, 5 equals, let me copy this one here, and forest 8, 11 equals forest 1, 11 equals forest 3, 9. So these are the places that I have chosen. So you can choose other coordinates. Forest equals 5, 0 equals forest 8, 6 equals forest 10, 1 equals forest 3, 6, and the last one, forest 7, 3 equals, we want to place our tens, equals tens, our emoji, right? And now let's go and implement a function. I'm gonna call it game, the name of the function. So first I have to print these instructions right here. I've used 5 print functions. Now let's use 5 print functions. Print. The first one is collect stones by digging in order to fight the monsters, right? So let's say collect stones by digging to fight the monsters. So what about the next one? Is this instruction, collect at least 6 keys by killing the monsters. So again, print collect at least 6 keys by killing the monsters. The third one is search the tents to get some food. Search the tents to get some foods or fruits, doesn't matter. Print. Make fire and cook the food to restore your HP. Make fire and cook the food to restore your HP. And the last one is it the last one? Let me see. Yeah, cut the trees, you get wood logs. Cut the trees to get wood logs. So here I have, let's say a border. Again, I've used an emoji. So I have the emoji here. Yeah, it's right here. I'm going to use this Unicode number. So print this emoji times 50 to have a long border, and then we will go to the next line. Or let's say if you want to have an extra line, so you can use /n. Now here's the important part. So as you know, this is a nested list. So in order to print, you should use nested for loop or nested loop in general. I'm going to use nested for loop. Let's have space here. For I in range, so the outer loop for rows in range 11, for j in range 12 columns. Now I want to print something. So what I want to print, I have to print the elements, right? So I need two indexes. The index of row, the index of column. So print, this is the name of the list, nested list, let's say, forest, ij, and just one space is enough. So I don't want to go to the next line. So as you can see, here's the emoji and then this one and then this one. So I'm not planning to go to the next line. So this is why I'm using end parameter right here. Now let's use some conditions. If j equals 11, and if I equals 0, print. So this part is important. So listen carefully. So I want to have these options here. So I equals 0, it means the first row. If this is true, so I have it right here. So this is my option. Let me remove this one. And elif I equals 1. If this is true, you're going to print this one. And elif I equals 2, I equals 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So not to waste any time, let me copy and paste everything here. So these are the options that you can see here next to each row. Not all rows, but some of them, most of them. And then I'm gonna need a new line, print. And here's the second border. So just copy this one and paste it right here. So everything seems fine. Now let's call the function which is game to see if it works properly. Something is wrong here. Let me fix it so quick. Yeah. So let me run it again so you can see. So this is our result. So you can modify it, you can add some spaces. Let me add some spaces here. Maybe it's a bit better, I'm not sure. So let's run it again. Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. Let me zoom in. Yeah, this is nice. So here's our board. So we have everything, all the emojis. It's exactly the same as the original one. So in the next video, we will add more functionalities, how to move our friends, how to fight the monsters, and how to make fires, and much more. So let's wrap it up here. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.